Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode number 50. 50, that's right, of the Audible Farm podcast. Holy cow, we made it to 50. Yeah, this episode's brought to you by Couchtown Coffee. Couchtown Coffee is roasted right here in Iowa. That's probably one of my favorite parts about it. The other part about it is it's some of the freshest coffee I've ever had in my entire life. You send in your order, and they say, all right, we'll roast your coffee for you and send it right back to you, and they ship you the coffee right to your house. I know some people were just like, well, that's weird getting coffee shipped to your house, but it's no different than having like coffee shipped to a grocery store and then you go to the grocery store, except like the coffee you get at the grocery store is roasted in giant bulk batches that I don't know even when they roasted them. I don't even know if they tell you when they roasted those beans that you can buy at the store, but Couchtown Coffee is roasted for you to order. So they roast your beans for you when you want them, not like months ago and then wait and then ship you something that's freeze dried or whatever. None of that nonsense. It's roasted to your specifications. So if you wanted a little bit, lighter roast, you can get a little bit lighter roast. I like dark roast. The Columbia is my favorite. But go to their website at www.couchtowncoffee.com. You can find the Our Coffees section right up there at the top. And you click on that, and it shows what kind of coffees they have available, how you can get a hold of them to order your coffee, and so much more. It's a great thing they're doing here for the podcast by sponsoring and getting all this music out there. And it's not only that, but one of the other cool things they're doing about sponsoring the podcast is they're going to offer you 20% off. Couchtown Coffee is that awesome. So go to www.couchtowncoffee.com, find a coffee you like, and when you're making your order, make sure you enter the word class. Why? Because you're going to feel like you've got a lot of class when you'll be drinking this Couchtown Coffee. You know who else has some class? Levi Drew. That's this week's guest on episode number 50. He's riddled with class. He's one of the guys in Riddled with Class. I'll tell you what, I didn't know I had this much in common with Levi Drew when we started doing the podcast, but even after the podcast was over, we were having a couple conversations, and we think kind of on the same wavelength about a handful of different things, but at the same rate, during the episode, you can find us on differing sides of the coin sometimes too. So it's kind of neat. I really enjoyed this episode. Didn't really know him too much going into this, and I think we got to know each other pretty well in this episode. So it's kind of a nice one. Check it out, guys. I hope you really like this one. It's episode number 50 with Levi Drew.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
All right, so I got her going, and I'm sitting down with Levi Drew. 2 first names?
3 technically.
Wait,
if you really delve into
okay, let's hear it.
Wesley.
Wesley.
Yes.
All right, I was waiting for something like Levi John Drew, just like really simple.
No.
Ever gone by Wesley?
Never ever.
No, it kind of seems like an outlier in the name.
A lot of people call me Drew though.
Yeah. Well, you got the last name. There's the trucking company, right?
Sure.
I did see a picture of that on Facebook from somewhere back in the day. I don't remember, but somebody I think tagged you on a picture of it. That was pretty cool, man.
Sure. Yeah. Me and the family have had our own trucking company here for a while, and things are going good.
Heck yeah, man. Where are you from originally?
I was born in Pennsylvania.
Oh, geez.
Don't remember any of that.
Okay.
My the joke we like to say is my dad had to go a long way to find somebody to put up with his shit. But no, I don't think I was even a year old. We moved back here to Iowa. Grew up in Lanesboro, actually.
Okay.
Town of 120 people, maybe.
I don't even know where it's at.
I don't know, probably 15, 20 minutes south of Rockwell City, which is where I live now.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so you're out of Rockwell City. I had originally seen you play guitar with Riddled With Class.
Sure.
And how did you meet up with the Riddled With Class guys? Because you weren't in the initial lineup of that, were you?
No. I actually all started, me and Nick Earhart, who's the bass player for Riddled. We both started working at Fort Dodge Ford right around the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And, just grapevine stuff, found out that we both played music. We were both in bands and stuff. And so we really meshed over that. And then, one day I just asked Nick, because we got to be really, really good friends, and I just asked him. I was like, "Hey, I know you guys practice on like Mondays or whatever." I was like, "Do you mind if I just like come, just hang out, jam?" I was like, "I don't want anything. I don't want to step on any toes."
Yep.
I was like, I'd been playing with the same band for I don't know, about 8-10 years, and stuff gets stale.
It does. Yep.
And I knew that they played the kind of stuff that I actually like to listen to and play. So I was like, "You mind if I come out and jam?" And he's like, "Hell yeah, we don't care." And I literally went and practiced with them one time, and they're like, "So you want to be in our band?"
That's awesome.
I was like, "That's not really what I intended, but I was like, I might have a spare weekend here and there. Let's give it a shot."
A spare weekend here and there. Little do you know.
Right. Yeah.
You guys keep a pretty big schedule going.
Yeah. It's summers are real crazy for us, and really this year, had a couple weekends where actually two of our band members have gotten married this year.
Yeah.
But other than the weddings, I might have had 1 or 2 weeks off since the beginning of April.
Oh, that's crazy. So that's every single week with for like 6 months, and we're talking like 3 or 4 weekends off maybe.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
That's wild. Yeah. That is insane. I've got a pretty busy schedule, but it's not playing shows every weekend busy.
Sure.
That's crazy, dude.
Sure.
I envy that, but I also think like it's got to be a lot on your plate,
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know. It's kind of a love-hate thing. I hate to sound ungrateful, but at times, it's like it's a lot.
Yeah, dude.
But it's like we don't get to do as much stuff with the family as I'd like to. But it's not like we're playing every single day or anything like that. It's normally one day on the weekends, family day, and or two, Friday, Sunday, or something, and Saturday nights I'm gone playing. So.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, like I could totally see that too, because it seems like that'd be so much to do, like with a family and stuff like that. And I'm fortunate enough to not have a family. I guess I don't want to say I don't have a family, but like it's I'm just kind of bacheloring it up, so I can just like leave the house and go wherever I want, when I want, and do what I want. And I never think too much about that in that aspect, that like everyone else has a family.
Sure.
I'm in Three Finger Betty, right? And two of the guys in the band now have kids, so I'm starting to see that a little bit more in my day to day. At least I have to deal with it, and there, you just got to be patient with people. Do you guys ever find it difficult to like find like the way to meet up, or do you like to get a practice? We're going to practice on this day, or do you like skip weeks? Because it's like if you're playing every single weekend, sometimes you don't need to freshen it up because you're already getting together every single week anyways.
I would probably guess that we practice 3 times a year.
Oh wow, yeah, because that's how often you're playing anyways.
Right, yeah.
So you practice probably just to toss some new stuff in the lineup,
Sure, yeah. Like we're gonna, the summer's kind of winding down for us, and we're gonna, we wanted to take a little time off, and we really want to revamp our set list entirely.
Yep. Oh, cool.
I want to kick out 80% of it.
Oh wow.
And so I mean, it's basically just kind of a big Facebook Messenger thing. Hey, here's my 5-10 ideas. What are yours? What sucks? Chuck it, and then we'll set a date here. Actually, I just got a message on the way here. It's like here's what we figured out so far. Learn these, and then maybe week or two we'll get together on a Sunday and knock it out.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean that works out pretty well because you do primarily covers in Riddled With Class, so like you guys at least have the ability to have a template laid out for you somewhere for this kind of stuff. That totally helps though too, But you got 2 guitars now as well in Riddled With Class, so you kind of probably got to figure out who's going to take the lead kind of parts and who's not. Or
sure, yeah. It's kind of a give and take because me and Greg Merritt, the other guitar player, we're the ones doing the singing too. So it's generally like who wants the easy guitar part, and that person's going to be singing it, and who wants the hard guitar part, and that person,
that totally
is
makes
going to be
sense.
backup. So,
dude, that's awesome. Like it's just kind of stuff I guess I never really thought too much about. I'm pretty much just like the rhythm guitar guy, but I play like in Three Finger Betty, I play leads while John is singing, but while John's not singing, he's just shredding the crap out of his guitar. So it's like, that's kind of like the give and take of our end of it. But that's really neat that like you guys can trade off and just be like, all right, you get to sing this one, now I get to sing this one. Is it just the two of you that sing most of the songs?
Yeah, just me and Greg.
So no Nick singing?
No, thank God.
He's got one of those pitch corrector pedals, and those things were like the funnest thing ever. Yep. I had fun dinking around with his, so I ended up just going and buying one too because they're fun. Like,
I thought he stole the idea from you.
No, I took it from him, man. Dude, and there's a lot of things though. Like, speaking of taking ideas from people, like when I first saw you play, it was in Humboldt at I don't know if it was called the Sitting Bull or the Poorhouse, but it's the Poorhouse now. And you were outside playing. You guys were killing it. You guys took a little break, maybe like 3 hours in or something. You took a little break, and I was just like, hey, I'm going to check out this guy's pedal board. And I was like, dude, this guy's not like just playing around. You know, he had some good pedals on there. And that's the kind of stuff that I like to see, because you hear people's guitar playing and you're like, oh, how's he making this noise? And then you kind of maybe borrow a couple things off their pedal. Like, I might try and find me one of those things and try it out, you know?
Oh, yeah.
What's some of your favorite gear on the pedal board?
The pedal board, I just recently got a new delay and reverb pedal by Keeley. It's the Keeley Canyon pedal. It's awesome for making really stupid, spacey noises. It's, like post-rock kind of stuff. And, I mean, I basically have the delay set for my lead delay.
That makes sense.
Then I'll kick the reverb on with it and get a little wacky and you know, kind of organy almost.
Oh, neat.
But and then probably, since I am doing rhythm, lead, and singing. I'm singing most of the songs throughout the night. My favorite pedal, I bought it's actually by Joyo, which is not a great pedal company. They make a pedal switcher, and it's essentially got 8 different banks on it. So each pedal has its own bank, and you can set up patches so that, rather than tap dancing all over your board, you can switch your amp channel. And, so you could be like, you can go from clean to a dirty amp with an overdrive, a delay, and a boost.
Dude,
or whatever,
That makes
in one
awesome.
stomp. And it makes it so much easier, so you're not like looking down, trying to sing and, figure out where you're playing all at the same time. It gets a little wacky.
Dude, that's one of my favorite things that I first started realizing when I was playing guitar and trying to do leads and stuff. And it's like, well, I need a little bit of extra oomph on this like lead that I play. And so you have to find out where you're stomping on it, but I'm singing backup vocals while I'm doing this. So it's like, you just got to kind of stand in a spot with your foot over a pedal and then just like smash it and hit your, but I get what you're saying though, where it's just like, you don't have to, I don't know, for people that don't know anything about pedals and stuff, the pedals change the way your guitar sounds. And instead of being like, I want these 3 on, so you don't have to go 1, 2, 3 and stomp them on, you can just push one pedal that's plugged into all these.
Exactly.
Dude, that is so cool.
Yeah, it's made things a lot easier. And, I honestly would like to cut my pedal board down. I think it's cumbersome. I hate carrying it around. But I'm in a cover band, you know? And if I was doing original stuff, I probably wouldn't have half the crap that I have.
Bingo.
I have it because I'm trying to make particular sounds, that are pivotal to whatever track,
Exactly.
Not saying that we're always 100% trying to, we're not a tribute band. We're trying to put our own jazz on whatever we're doing, so.
Yeah, you're not like going super nuts. I totally get what you're saying. Like it's kind of like you're just painting and you gotta have a handful of different colors. I mean, like you could probably just pull it off with like a red, a black, and a handful of primary colors. But why not just have like a whole palette in front of you?
Yeah, exactly.
But I also get what you're saying where it's cumbersome. Like I got like 14 pedals on my pedal board right now. Like A, it's not light. Like B, it's just a lot of junk to hook up and make sure it's plugged in right. And it's like, oh, something's not right. Is it a power thing? Is there a connection gone bad?
A lot of variables.
And so, I mean, there has been times at shows where I've bailed on the pedal board and you just rip everything out of the amp and just go straight into the front of it. And like, this is what I'm doing, I guess, And
I had to do that recently, actually. We had a weekend off, and there's another area band that's pretty similar to us, actually. They play a lot of alternative type stuff. And friend of mine that I grew up with, he's the guitar player. Well, their rhythm guitar player was busy that night, and they asked me if I'd play.
Oh, cool.
Sure, And it was great. Had to learn a bunch of songs. Had to learn like 35 songs in 4 days or something.
Geez.
But it was fun. It was a challenge, something different.
Yep.
But no, we're playing the first set. First set's going great. We go on break. We come back, and I have 10% of my volume and weird spaceship noises.
Yeah.
Like, oh, great.
Yep.
It's like, well, I'll unhook the pedal board and go straight into my amp. Well, it was my amp. It wasn't my pedal
Oh,
board.
wow.
But I have a orange Micro Terror.
Yep.
It's a $120 amp head. It's 20 watts, and you hook it up to a 212 cab. It's kind of a flamethrower.
Yeah.
And it's saved my ass a couple times. So it's I just keep it. I have an amp rack, and I just keep it in the rack, and it's a great little fail-safe.
Yeah, it's nice to have like the backup equipment. I for a while was bringing like just 2 of everything. It's like I got 2 amp heads, 2 cabs because you never know. For a while, I mean, you can see there's one cabinet here. You can split it into two 2x12s, just
Stereo.
so you can do the stereo thing.
Sure.
So like I was bringing that one for a while. So it's like, oh, if all else fails, I can go one stereo side or the other. But it got cumbersome, and that's the thing was like I'm getting tired of dragging gear around, man. I'm trying to find ways to simplify it. And you said you had a rack that that's probably gonna take a lot of your pressure off you, but you probably gotta also have like a truck to haul it or something.
Well, it's not bad. It's probably a little shorter than your 412 over there.
Yep.
I keep my amp head in the bottom of it, and then it's got rack spaces in it, and I basically just have a power conditioner and a wireless unit, and then I have a rack that I keep extra cable, guitar picks, that sort of thing
Smart.
in. And you just pop the sides off of it, and then at the end of the night you pop them back on. And then I set a 212 right on top of it, so it elevates the cab too. So
that's brilliant.
It's kind of a little double feature there, and it's really nice. I bring 2 guitars, a mic stand, a pedal board in that rack. That's my gig.
Dude, that's awesome. Like that's I guess I was thinking this was going to be a lot more involved, but it's really actually just really convenient is what it is, dude.
I've really, really tried to streamline things. Like I was saying, I hate my pedal board. It's too damn big, and I'd like to make it small enough that it slides into said rack.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Would make things even easier.
Yep.
But
yeah, I mean, like at that rate, like how many pedals can you delete and still maintain some of the sound? And I'm assuming you're kind of like me where you don't want to just go down to a digital all-in-one kind of thing.
I've kicked it around, man.
Yeah.
I've really, really kicked it around because of the, like what we've been talking about. I hate carrying this crap around, It's like, it'd be really nice if I just had like one powered cab and this little floor unit, and my guitars. But whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to go a lot of different routes. Like I've gone with the 1x12. I like it, but there doesn't seem like there's a lot of 1x12s that you can really get really metally, I guess, unless you go to like the 5150 1x12.
Sure.
But even then, it's like that's going to be super heavy.
Yeah, and that's the same size as a 2x12
Yep.
of any other standard, pretty much.
So then you get a 2x12, and it's like, well, this weighs 80 pounds. I'm not saving anything on this, And
Right.
so I've always tried to figure out what's going on. I did go with digital setup for a while. I do have like an Avid 11 rack, and it's pretty nice, but it's pretty much just like a poor man's Kemper,
Sure.
But you ever thought about trying anything like that, like a Kemper? Or?
Kemper's too damn expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, just be straight with you.
Yeah.
I've looked at like the head rush and the helix,
Yep.
For the floorboards, but I don't know. It's like I got enough crap sitting around. I can make something work. you
Yeah.
know. I'm not that old. I should be bitching about, carrying stuff to shows, Get over it.
That's true. So you ran into Nick by working with him and stuff, but let's take it back. Like, how did you start playing guitar, and like when did you start?
Well, when I was telling you that I filled in with that band Tantrum to Blind,
Yep.
their guitar player Josh Stewart, I grew up with him.
Okay.
We were buds in high school, and I remember he used to hang out at his older brother's house, and they'd have parties and whatnot. And I
Yep.
wasn't really into that at the time, but I remember I went over there one day just to hang out with him, play video games or whatever, and he was playing guitar.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, I have a guitar. And he's like, really? He's like, where'd you get that? And I was like, well, my great grandfather, he played guitar, and I got an acoustic and an electric out of the deal, and they were, really, really old things that, I mean, they were like Japanese Sears and Roebuck kind of things,
Yep.
And he's like, well, go get it. You got an amp? And I was like, yeah, he actually had an amp too. Nothing special again, Sears
Yep.
and Roebuck.
Yep.
But no, brought it over, and it was like teaching bass lines to somebody, it was one string things. And,
Yep.
and I think it was like Brain Stew by Green Day.
Oh, cool.
And like maybe Sweet Dreams by Marilyn Manson or something like that.
Sweet,
you
yeah.
know? But very, very primitive things, you
Yep.
know. And after that, it was just, probably senior year where we we kind of got serious about playing together and stuff like that. And then it wasn't really until college, first year of college, still me and Josh and a couple other buddies that we went to school with. We like to hang out and drink together, and we all had instruments, and that formed Beerly Deprived.
I like
Because,
that.
we weren't of age, and we're sitting around drinking, kicking around ideas, looking around the room like, hey, how about 32-ounce cup? How's that sound for a band name? No. So that was a thing. We played, I don't know, a handful of shows over the span of 2.5 years or something, but no, it was fun. We did a lot more drinking than we did playing. But, and then after that, I was kind of out of it for a while, and probably honestly was about ready to hang it up.
Yeah, play guitar, just done with it.
Yeah, I mean, because I've always kind of been a person I enjoy playing with other people.
Yep.
And I don't really like sitting around by myself playing guitar.
Makes sense.
And I got a call from this guy. I knew his brother-in-law. He had seen me play before and stuff. And he's like, well, we're kind of reforming this band. And heard that you played guitar and sang a little bit. I was like, yeah, I don't really know what you're looking for, but yeah, I mean, if you're willing to drive over here and check me out, let's do it.
Yeah.
And they did that. I think they were looking more for a singer than a guitar player. Mm-hmm. But that was the band was called 100 Proof.
Okay.
They've been around for a long time, probably a 25-year-old band.
Oh, geez.
And just different reincarnations of the same band. And the one guy was a constant. His name was Kevin Borkowski from Sac City.
That's awesome.
And played in that for, 5 or 6 years. And then that whole deal kind of dissolved. And basically everybody but Kevin kind of kept on going. Mm-hmm. So it was me, Chad McDermott was the keyboard player, who also plays acoustic guitar, electric guitar, trumpet, harmonica, keys. Well, I mean, whatever, dude. Just multifaceted dude. And, they were actually doing a little 3-piece thing where they did live karaoke.
Okay.
And they'd put out songbooks on tables or whatever, and people would be like, yeah, I want to sing this song. And they'd play the song, and people would come up and sing with it. And they asked me, they're like, do you want to come in on this deal? We could use a guitar, because it was basically a keyboard, a bass player, and a drummer at the time. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's try it out. And it was either really, really fun or, I don't know, kind of subpar.
Like when you hear a karaoke.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
Yeah, I mean, there was nights where nobody would come up, and we just basically just play a 4-hour show. And there was nights where I would never sing a song.
Oh, dude.
And those were really fun.
That is so cool. Like a live band karaoke. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I think I've heard of the concept before, but I've never been had somebody like face to face be like, yeah, I was in a live band karaoke. Like, it's like dueling piano shit, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely different. But we soon kind of kicked that to the wayside. It kind of died out. And then basically that's when we actually gave ourselves a name. We called ourselves Foreplay.
Okay.
And because there's 4 guys in the band, we were playing instruments, I guess.
Yeah.
But and then we were doing that for probably another 3-4 years maybe.
Yeah.
And then that's the band that I was in when I met Nick.
Okay.
And so I was actually playing in 2 bands at the same time. Plus, me and Chad, the keyboard player, we were doing a little 2-piece acoustic thing on the side. So, I mean...
Like keyboard and acoustic guitar? Or?
Yeah, essentially. Yep.
That's cool.
And then, he would play keys if we needed it. But also acoustic guitar. Uh-huh. So it was just kind of 2 dudes. And we still do this today. But we'd switch off every other song.
Okay.
Because he sang too, and hell of a singer. He's a really good harmony singer.
Oh, cool.
So and I'm not a good harmony singer. So he'll be singing the lead on a song, and I'll jump in there, and it's just like I don't know where to go, but this is where I'm going. And he always adjusts himself, so he's either doing the high part or the low part. Wherever I'm at, he's doing the opposite of it, and he's really, really good at that.
Dude, that's awesome. 'Cause I am not good at singing. It's not that I'm bad at it, but I lack the confidence when I'm singing, so it just kind of comes out meh. But at the same rate, I'm blown away by A, good singing, and B, people that are good enough at it to like harmonize with other people.
Sure.
You know, that's one of my favorite things about maybe going to see like the Chris Carr band. It's just like, oh, there's
Mm-hmm.
like 4 or 5 guys, like all 5 of them can sing. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
this is wild. You know?
and that'd be awesome to do. But and that's my other guitar player, Greg. He's such an amazing singer.
Oh,
He
yeah.
doesn't do enough singing, in my opinion. But dude, harmonies for days, doesn't get enough credit. Just does not get enough credit. He's playing a J. Clyde too, and
Yep.
I mean, you can hear him right there, dude. And
Yep.
it just fills everything out, and it's been so much better, since Greg's been with us. Just because there was a time there when we were doing Riddled as a 3-piece,
Yep.
and I was singing, playing guitar, but it's just, I don't know. I never wanted to be the singer of this band either, by the way.
Yeah.
Because, I initially joined the band as just a guitar player.
Uh-huh.
And actually a rhythm guitar player. Well, eventually the lead guitar player quit.
Yep.
So I was the only guitar player.
Yep.
Well, later on down the line, our singer quit.
Yep.
So here I am,
Yep.
and it's like at the time I was kind of doing what Greg's doing now, where I was singing 4 or 5 songs a night, lead,
Yep.
and it's like, well, I guess I'm singing everything now. So like I said, I that was another great thing about joining this band is I could just be a guitar player. That's all I
Yeah.
really wanted to do.
Yep.
I think I started singing like every good rock and roll singer, out of necessity because nobody else wanted to do it. So.
Exactly. And that's how I tend to describe it. Like, I'll sing if I have to, and that's pretty much the only way I'll do it. And unless it's like a really easy blues song, because anybody can sing a blues song, but yeah, man, like you jump in on there and you think you're just going to be playing the guitar, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, now I'm playing the leads and the rhythms, and I'm singing, dancing on all the pedals and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
but in the same breath, I think if I was just playing guitar, I think I'd get bored eventually.
bingo. Yeah.
It's like I bitch about singing, but in another part of that is I think Greg's a better singer, and I want him to do more of it. you
Yeah.
know? And same with guitar. It's like, hell, I think I'm like probably the 3rd best guitar player in the band. Sorry, Nick. But,
Is it, what if he's coming in the band thinking like, this is nice, I get to join a band, I don't have to do much of the singing if I don't want to. This other guy's already doing it all, and you're just like, you need to sing more.
we've been trying to pressure him into it, or pick out songs that we know that I can't sing, because he's definitely a little higher vocal than I am. So, but
Yeah, just kind of take it as it comes, I guess, with that. I don't know. I have sang at shows. I did a one-man acoustic show at the art building here in Humboldt a few months back, and that was like my first taste of like, hey, you got to sing for like 2 hours. And by the time I was done, it was just like, man, I got a whole new respect for like people that sing, that have like the confidence to do it. Because isn't it weird that like, okay, so bear with me on this one. So like, you can walk up to somebody and listen to them play guitar, and even if their talent level is maybe less than yours or adjacent in a different avenue, you're just like, this person's awesome. But we all like use our voice and talk and stuff like that, but somehow some people are this good at using their voice they can sing with it, and it's I'm just mind blown by it. It's so crazy to think of that. Just people that have the ability to sing are just that good. And I don't want to like put too much on singers and be like, they're the greatest, but like, it's not an easy task, man. And like, kudos to you for being able to do that and play guitar at the same time. And
Sure.
because even that some people have difficulty with.
yeah, and I think I've in Riddled With Class, I think my voice has actually changed a lot, and it's honestly more comfortable for me because in my other band, back in the foreplay day, we were doing some country stuff, some classic rock, a little cleaner vocal stuff, but this one I get a little more growl to it, a little more rasp, and it's honestly more comfortable for me to sing there.
Yep.
So.
That makes sense. You just got to kind of find your niche. That's man, when I was playing that acoustic show, it was just like, I'm going to stack as many like bluesy songs as I can in here, or just like as simple ones as I want to. But I remember trying to play, I played Love Song by Tesla, and it was just like, well, I'm gonna have to dumb these singing down a little bit because I can't sing no Tesla. But yeah, it was fun to play Tesla. it was also kind of weird because I tried to pick songs that I thought everyone would kind of know, but there was such a smattering of people there that from like, you know, young to old, and like there was male and female, and there was people that party and people that don't party, and you know, it was just like, what song is everybody gonna want to hear, you know? So you try to like read the room a little bit, but that's always kind of difficult. Do you guys have a set list when you go at like up to a bar? Like, we're playing this for the first hour, this for the second hour, this for the third hour, this for the fourth hour, and then we're closing out the night with these like 10 or 12 songs, or do you just kind of like feel it as you go, or does somebody just call it out on stage?
Yeah, it kind of depends. I mean, Nick puts out kind of a baseline for us, and you know, if we're getting to a point where it's like, you know, everybody's having a good time, and then it's like, man, we got this downer song coming up. It's like, Hot Route, Audible, we're doing something different.
That totally makes sense.
So yeah, we'll change it up on the fly. But you know, like you were saying, reading the crowd for your acoustic show, when me and Chad do our acoustic thing, we never use a set list.
That's probably smart.
And I mean, it changes every time. Sure, there's a lot of old standbys that we'll go to, you know, if we're not getting ideas, but we honestly call for requests as soon as we get up there. Yeah. And we're playing 4-hour shows.
Yeah, that's crazy,
you know,
man.
And sometimes it works good. Sometimes people aren't really into the requesting stuff, and if they do, it's AC/DC. I ain't gonna get acoustic guitar, man. Yeah. Come on, you know. and it's AC/DC. You know, I'm not singing that, but I mean, I always think back to this. We had this show in Newell. It was Sportsters at the time, Screwy Louie's now, and literally 4 people in the crowd. That's it.
Okay.
And requested songs all night long. Like, we never had to come up with an idea. And it was a blast with the 6 of us in this room. Sweet. It was so stupid, but it was fun because they were really challenging us, you know. And me and Chad have been playing together for so long that we kick ideas off each other, and you know, it's like one of us knows something about this song, like how it goes, the words, something. And Chad has an iPad that he has, and it's just like any song that he hears, he's like, we might play that in 10 years, and he'll download lyrics on his iPad, you know. But not very often like chord charts or anything like that. So it's just like, this sounds like a good key for this song. We'll go with that, you know. Just
guess and check your way through it. So you are just kind of like playing songs on the fly, like one person's got the puzzle pieces and you're just kind of both trying to put them together, kind of deal.
Yep, absolutely.
That's also crazy to me. Like, I can go to jam nights and someone's like, we're playing this song, and I'm like, I don't know it, and they're like, it's in this key, and it's like, sweet, I'm playing the solos then, you know. So like, that's easy. But like, if someone was just like, play Against the Wind, and it's just like, and you're just like thinking, and then you're like, here, and then you just like start hammering it out. That's mind blowing to me. Like, I don't know if I could ever get to that part, you know, comfortable with my playing or be that good at it. But do you think, like, what do you think propelled you from this like beginner's level of guitarist to being like where you're at now, where you're comfortable enough to just pretty much tackle almost any kind of music?
Dude, I'm still there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, I started off playing shitty Green Day covers, and I still am, you know what I mean? But oh, dude, I don't know. I honestly think, you know, playing with Chad McDermott has been, and Nick said it too, because we've done a couple shows where Nick has joined me and Chad, and Chad is just such a spitballer, dude. It's, you know, it's like, hey, I'm gonna start playing this, figure it out. You know, and it's like, you got no key or nothing. Like, we're just doing this thing. All right, here we go. You know, and that is, you know, it's you know, you basically figure out standard chord progressions and stuff like that, you know, just on the fly, playing stuff that you don't know. So that, and there's the guitar shop that I showed you the picture of on my phone. Share that with another band called the Rockin' 88s. They're from Rockwell City. They don't play out much anymore. Some older fellers. We've hung out with them for years, and honestly learned a lot of fundamentals just from watching their guitar players. You know? And it's just like, okay, how can I apply this to what I like to do, which is, you know, not surf rock and, you know, oldies like they're doing. So,
dude, that's probably one of my favorite parts about going into a guitar shop. I do like going into shops and hearing other people play. It is kind of a downer when it's just like, oh, there's another person playing Smells Like Teen Spirit or something, you know, but like at the same rate, it's still kind of like, dude, this guy's using a lot of tremolo, and it's not something I do much of, you know.
Sure.
And it's like crazy to hear that kind of stuff. I kind of dig on it.
Right.
And as far as like, do you think it help? You're trying to say it helps to have a buddy to play guitar with. That was your preference, anyways. You didn't like playing guitar alone, but it's
Right.
also kind of nice to have a buddy you play guitar with. That kind of pushes the envelope a little
Sure.
bit for you, you know.
Yep.
That was probably what propelled me from like being a beginner and sitting here and doing it in my basement more often than going out and doing it. Was I had a friend of mine that was just kind of like, hey, you want to start learning some blues stuff? And it's just like, yeah. And we just like started sending each other YouTube videos, and like every couple of days we'd get together and be like, I learned this. And it was just like, oh, that's cool. I want to learn that. So you'd like just bounce ideas off each other and learn that way. And that's literally how I learned, was just kind of that kind of stuff. So it kind of sounds a little bit the same. I wonder if people, like a lot of people, go through this same path that, you know, you and I are talking about, where you just kind of like get together with one person and all the ideas kind of start bouncing off each other. And
Yeah, I think so. You know, and it's kind of nice to toss it up. Like I said, you know, Josh Stewart pretty much gave me what I needed to get started. You know, it's like, you know, here's basically how this thing works, this chunk of wood with strings on
Yep.
it. You know, and then also, this is how you read a tab on the internet. You know,
Yep.
so that got me started.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but, you know, I played with him a ton back in the day. Our music styles back then didn't really click. I was more into, you know, pop punky kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah,
and he was always just pretty much straight Metallica, you know, that sort of thing. You
Yeah.
know, he just wanted to shred,
Oh, yeah.
like straight from day one, you know. But you know, mixing it up with other people, like I was saying, the guys in the Rockin' 88s, you know, it's like that was an entirely different style of music.
Yeah.
And playing clean, which I wasn't used to, you know, and it's like there's nowhere to hide here.
Yeah.
And, you know, and just showing me something other than power chords and cowboy chords, you know, because they're playing different stuff here. You know, it's like we're just going to play the bottom part of a bar chord here. You know,
Yep.
it's like that's all we really need for this part. And it's like, well, I never really thought about doing something like that. But
Yep.
you get a few different people and you'll start picking stuff up like that, which is great.
Yeah, that's kind of mind blowing, because like, okay, so I'm gonna do a parallel. So I play a lot of punk stuff in Three Finger Betty. I grew up playing a lot of pop punk, like your Newfound Glories and your Sum 41s and your whatevers. But when I would go to like play shows, every now and then we'd play with a ska band, and ska bands are playing like on the ands of everything. They're upstroking most stuff, and then you're like, what's kind of going on here? Like, what are these people changing chords? And then you realize, like, it's exactly like you're saying. They're just hitting like the bottom halves of certain bar chords, and like even like throwing like, I'm gonna throw like what would be a D up here, like,
Sure.
and they're gonna change it into like a different. But that's how they're doing their chord progressions through that way, and it's like, when I was younger, I'd read the tabs and be like, how do people keep all this straight, you know? But at the
Right.
same rate, when you grow up a little bit and you start to like, oh, this is a bar chord, and this is how it changes when I move up here. And it's weird how your brain doesn't even have to think about it anymore. You're just kind of like, just play these. It makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it's just so weird to like run into a time where that clicks and you start to see other people doing it and you're like, oh, that's what they're doing. That's what they've been doing this whole time, you know?
Yep.
And that's the benefit of going to see music you normally wouldn't see, or hanging out with people that are playing a different style than you and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. They helped me a ton. You know, I actually grew up right next to the guy, and he was renovating this house next to his. This is before we had the guitar shop, as we call it.
Yep.
And you know, they actually had their entire band set up down in the basement, and you know, he gave us a key because we used to help them, you know, move their gear when they had a show, you know, like twice a year or something like that, you know. And it's like, you guys are cool by us, you know, come hang out on Wednesday nights. That's when we jam, you know. And then we had a key, you know, to get in there and jam whenever we wanted to, because we didn't really have anywhere to go, you know. And plus the stuff's already set up, you know. We might take our guitars and a distortion pedal or something and plug it into their stuff. You know, we used to hang out down there all the time, and it's really nice to have a place to go.
yeah, definitely. Once you have that one place you can kind of go, either if it's just you or you and your buddy or whatever's going on, a whole band, that kind of seems to be where it all takes off.
Yeah.
I've been in the band in a band called Unity, where a lot of that's just do it on your own time and we'll find a place to practice together later. But that's really difficult. I mean, I've never really like talked too much about it on the podcast, but it's that's like the hardest part of that band for me, is like not seeing the guys on a day-to-day like or once a week basis. It's kind of like, I don't know if you lose the camaraderie, if you lose the chemistry, but sure enough, when everybody gets together, it's just like if you know your part and we start playing at the same note, and then we're going to end playing at the same note. And how do the pieces just stack together? And they usually stack together pretty good.
Yeah. And I was just telling somebody else about that. We had a show last Friday down in Lake Panorama.
Cool.
And we honestly hadn't played together. Like I said, my schedule's been busy, but we hadn't played. The 4 normal members of the band haven't played together in, I don't know, a month and a half maybe. You know, because we had Nick's wedding in there.
Yep.
And you know, we just had a lot of other stuff going on. People playing with you know, other bands.
Yep.
And there was a couple shows that me and Nick had to get some fill-in guys for. But you know, we get there on last Friday, and it was just like right from the jump. It's just like, yeah, we know what we're doing. We've done this before, you know.
Yep.
And it was like, there was no fluff there, you know. There was no relearning stuff. It was just tight right from the get, you know. It was awesome, you know. It'd be nice if I know what you're saying, you know, not getting to see your bandmates and stuff. You know, we pretty much see each other once a week, you know, when we're playing these shows. Nick might be able to stop into Reman and see the Merritt brothers from time to time, you know, but you know, I really don't get to Fort Dodge much, so I basically see him on Saturdays, you know. But you know, we all got families and stuff. We all got kids.
Exactly.
And you know, it's just it'd be great to hang out more often, but we'll make it work. I think we're gonna have an end of the year party and get together, do something. So.
Oh, that's cool. I was just thinking about like how crazy it is that you guys in Riddled With Class, and then Jay Clyde Band, who there are a couple members that are in both. How busy both of you guys are, and somehow you still manage to find time to do it all, and almost never have a spot where it's just like, we need a so and so for this show, or a such and such for that show.
Right.
That's mind blowing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess the good thing is that they come as a package deal, you know, the Merritt brothers, because they're both in that band together, you know. But so it's like when one of them's gone, they're both gone, you know. But it's also kind of a bad thing if we got something going on, you know. Which we had a couple shows this summer that they were already booked, and you know, schedules just got kind of screwed up, and we had to get some fill-in guys, and it you know, I wouldn't say it was better or worse, but it was just different. But it was still fun.
Yeah.
You know? We actually got Josh, the dude that I told you I've been buds with forever. Him and his drummer, which Jesse from Tantrum.
Cool.
And sorry, Scotty, Rockstar, Tantrum to Blind.
There you go.
You got to say the whole name.
The whole name.
But anyways, yeah, we got them for a show, and it was great. You know, and we actually played some different songs, and of course, Josh wanted to play as Metallica, and so we did Sandman, and we were gonna do for him Bell Tolls. That didn't work out, but no, it was fun. You know, it's a little change of pace.
Yeah, it's another one of those situations where just based on the situation you're given, you get to be exposed to different things, maybe by chance grow from it. You know, learn something from it. Where it's just like, okay, let me ask you this. You said you played some different songs. Did you have any of those different songs you played that you were like, I might have to bring that one into the fold, you know? Like, were there any of those?
Yeah, there's a couple, you know, and the thing is, you know, they have their own band. It's not like we were stealing songs from them or anything. It was just stuff that popped up, you know, and we practiced one time with those two guys.
Oh, that's
you know?
crazy. That's wild.
You know, and, you know, it was a little nerve-wracking the first time, but no, you know, just practicing together, and we came up with Paranoid by Sabbath for some reason. You know, it was like somebody was dicking around with an E chord, you know, up on the 12, and it's like, hey, we should do Paranoid. And it's like, yeah, that'd be rad, you know. And then after the fact, it's like, I'm going to have to learn that lead, you know, and we'll have to start doing that. That'd be fun.
That's awesome. So you said it was kind of like nerve-wracking when you first got everybody together up there, and it's kind of a new group of people, and you only practiced once. I mean, let me ask you this though: like, have you played a lot of shows? You played to a lot of people. Some crowds a lot bigger than others. Do you ever get nervous going up there to a show? I mean, sometimes. I mean, even me. Sometimes I will go to shows that are small and be like, dude, I'm so nervous and I have no clue why. And it just like, I'm literally like almost dumping sweat, putting my gear up on stage, like, oh god, I don't know what's gonna go down. And then like, you know, one song in, it's just like, all right, I got this. You know?
I mean, what I'm doing, you know, Riddled With Class, no. I don't get nervous whatsoever for that. It really doesn't even depend on the show, where we're at, or anything.
Oh, cool.
When me and Chad play together, no, I'm good there. The show that I filled in, playing guitar with another band, little bit.
Yep.
And it was mainly just because it was short notice. You know, I had 4 days to learn, like I said, 30 songs or something.
Dude, that's
it's
insane.
like, and I was just hammering on them, you know, and it's just like, God, I hope I got this right, you know. But no, that was good. You know, once you get going, it's all gone. But the thing that I absolutely hate with everything that I have is playing solo acoustic shows.
Yeah.
Those drive me nuts. It freaks me out. I don't know why. Because I always think to myself, like, I want to try all these songs that I've thought would be really cool to play acoustic, and then it's just like, God, I don't know if I have everything figured out right on this.
Yep.
And I don't know. I second guess myself. Nowhere to hide, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, man. It comes down to there's nowhere to hide sonically, especially if it's just you. It's like, oh, this is my guitar and my voice. That's it. Like, there's nowhere to just kind of like cheat your way through singing a song. You know, like, everyone's gonna notice, you know.
Sure.
And I get what you're saying about, like, I want to try a new song or whatever. Like, I'd known Love Song by Tesla for like ever, but I'm not a good singer, so I'm like trying to figure out a way to sing this song while I can play it, and it's not as difficult as you think, but at the same time, like, I'm not the most talented singer in the world, so it's you still got to kind of dumb one thing down or another, and just doing those kind of things where you're like, I'm bringing this thing that's 97% completed to the table, and I'm super nervous to show it to everyone because there's that 3% chance I'm going to biff a couple things, and it's that's where the nerves come from for me. I've also tried to, like, there's a Satriani song. We were talking Joe Satriani earlier, but there's a Joe Satriani song called I Believe, and it's like a really intricate acoustic guitar part that is a lot of odd strumming patterns in it and sliding and stuff, but you can dumb it down to just bare chords, and it works out just fine. And I was so psyched to do that, and I like got to the show. I wrote all the chords down on a sheet of paper so I wouldn't remember. I had the lyrics and everything, and I just like, not today. And it was like, that was my shot to play it, and I just passed it by, and I was like, nope, this ain't gonna happen. And so I get what you're saying about like sometimes those nerves hit you, and it's just like, man, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
But it's wild that you really don't get that nervous, because like I said, you've played to like street dances and stuff where it's just like, oh, there's hundreds of people here, you know. I played Rock and Picnic last year, and it's just like, oh, there's a couple hundred people here, like most of them are my peers in my town. Super nervous. Like, it's another one where I was just like, I better not screw anything up, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I think it's just. I mean, especially when you were playing Rock and Picnic, because that was a whole different ball game, man. You guys, I mean, that was pretty much from the ground up, you know, and stuff you hadn't really, you know, done before. Maybe you may have done it by yourself, but maybe not with these guys and live and that sort of thing. It's like, dude, I totally get that. It's when it's anything new, you know, and you know, we've thrown a couple shows together where it's me, Chad, Nick, and find a drummer, you know what I mean, and because we got this good opportunity to play a street dance or something, you know, and it's, you know, it's might have gotten together once or twice to get things straight, you know, and it's just like, you know, kind of fear the unknown, but you know, I always feel like, you know, as soon as you get going, it's like, where are you gonna go, dude? You know, it's like, you know, as soon as it starts, it just pretty much all melts.
Yeah, I mean, I almost want to say like you get in the zone, but it's not quite like you get in the zone. But there's something that happens when you're playing music with other people where it's just kind of like, you just keep going, you know, it just keeps going. And it's kind of like, I don't know, I liken it a little bit to like podcasting. Like now we're 45 minutes in. Like when we started, it was just like, I don't know, like every single time it's just like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, you know, fill up an hour, because I almost don't know what to talk about half the time. But it always seems to work out just fine. And music is kind of just like a conversation with somebody else, like up on stage, and everyone just sits there and listens to it.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how the hell you do it either, you know, and driving over here, it's like, I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about. It's like, hopefully Pete keeps this thing going, but, you know, it's like, and I just kept telling myself, it's like, dude, it's the same as playing a gig that you're not really sure about. Is like, once you get going, it'll figure it out. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I listened to a really good Victor Wooten TED Talk. Maybe I'll send you that. Maybe I'll share it on the Facebook page. But he was talking about how when he was young, he learned how to speak at a young age by watching people speak and being around them. And so that was also how he learned to play music. They gave him like a little toy guitar, and he was just like, well, this is how I do it, even though I'm not actually playing anything good. It's kind of like babies. You just goo goo gaga. And
Sure.
like, it's not any words. It doesn't mean anything, but at the same rate, you're learning. And every now and then you pick up a couple things here and there, and before you know it, you got full sentences. Before you know it, you've got long-form conversations about deep topics and stuff like that. And that's how he likened him playing the bass to, kind of like conversation.
Sure.
And so I feel like that might be quite a bit of like what goes on when you go into these like unknown territories, playing with people that you don't normally play with, in front of people you don't normally play in front of, and it's kind of just like, I don't know how this is going to go down, but it's like, like we said, it's no different than this podcast. You just start the conversation. Once you get going, it's just like, oh, this is easy.
Yeah, and it's weird because, like I said, I drive truck for a living, and all I do is listen to podcasts all day
cool.
long. And people ask me, because I'm in a band and stuff, what do you listen to? It's like, I don't listen to music at all.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the same way. All day long, all night long, it's just like podcast.
Yeah.
I do listen to music here and there. Like, sometimes if I play with bands, it's like, I'm going to check out their music on Spotify or whatever. And like, recently I got into a band called Stone. They're from Finland. When I was in high school, I bought a couple other albums off the internet back when you had to like really search for this stuff. It's not like you could just go to Amazon and be like, I'm buying this. It's like, oh, I got to find this imported on eBay from somebody. It's going to cost me $14 to ship this $9 CD over here, or whatever. And I finally found them on Spotify the other day, and I was like, I'm going to listen to a bunch of this. So I've been just like trucking through that, and like Nova Rain is another one I've been going through because I played a show with them. And that was another one that like, I listened to their album before I got to play with them, and Helion Prime was the other band, and they're like a prog rock kind of bands where it's just like you guys play lots of notes, sometimes in goofy time signatures. Nova Rain's kind of like a Dragon Forcey kind of band where, and then it's just like, I got to open up for these guys, and then you show up to the show, and that was one of the ones where I was just like, God damn, I shouldn't have listened to any of these guys' stuff. But dude, they killed it. We killed it. It was a great show all around.
Sure. I'd love to do more of that, but I don't know. Playing shows with other bands, but, being in a cover band, it really doesn't happen that way, And
Yeah.
I get it. I have no problem with original music. I just can't do it, or haven't done it, I should say. It's like, I'd really like to write my own stuff, just never really have. And I think it would kind of be in the same vein of what we do. Deep down, I really like, the heavier the better.
Yep.
I'm hardcore, maybe not Black Death, that sort of thing.
Yep.
But, that's really what I'm into, but probably not quite that heavy.
Yeah.
I love that stuff, but I don't play any of it. It's like, I'm not getting out an 8-string, It's like, come on.
Yeah, no kidding. And that's the other thing is I love listening to stuff like, I don't want to just like name drop a bunch of weird bands, but like Polyphia and Scale the Summit and stuff where it's like these dudes spend most of their time playing jazz chords and tapping.
Right.
And it's like, what is going on here? Like, I can't even figure out what's going on. But like, if someone's like, is that what you like to play? No, like I don't, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like you. I grew up playing the pop punk stuff. I like playing heavier stuff now. It's just kind of whatever I can fit into the mold. Right now I'm playing a lot of Unity stuff, but like, when I got away from punk, it was like, just like you said, I'm going to start playing some Metallica and some Megadeth and some Anthrax, and you just start throwing, the big four in there. It's like, I'm going to play some Maiden, and you just start picking these awesome bands like that out. But it's crazy to get to play shows with other bands and see what other people are coming up with. Like I said, like the Nova Rain and things like that. It's just like, man, I can't believe these people are writing this music and it came out a year ago and it's this cool. And like,
Right.
have you ever thought about joining? Like, this is a weird dichotomy because I play mostly shows with like quote original music, and I'm not writing any of it, but I'm in these bands that write all this original music, and I play with other bands that all write for the most part original music. And I've never had your shoe on my foot. I've never actually been in when I was in high school, but I've never been in a cover band that's going around playing to all these towns and stuff like that. So we get to experience two completely different things. I would love to jump into something like what you're doing. I don't have time for it, unfortunately.
Sure.
But like, let's say we all had the time to do it. Would you like to try and like just jump in with an original band and see what kind of spices you could throw on this food that people are already making or something like that? Because you could like jump into a band where it's like, we've got these ideas. What do you want to throw in here?
Sure. I don't know. it's like I said, I've never really written anything. I don't know how much I could bring to the table, but it got to be fun.
Yeah.
Some people are like, I don't know any of these songs. I can't really get into it, with an original band, but it's like, I don't feel like that. It's like, dude, good tunes is good tunes,
Yep.
And I love watching original bands play, and I love watching cover bands play.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to see you play Sweet Home Alabama. I don't.
Probably not. No. Yeah.
You know what
There's
I mean?
a handful where it's just
But,
like, I'm tired of hearing these.
and no, I think it'd be a blast to be in an original band. But, like I was saying about Sweet Home Alabama or, Mustang Sally,
Yeah.
I think that's really what we bring to the table is we're not really your typical cover band.
Yep.
And it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Not that we're getting real crazy, vulgar lyrics, super heavy stuff. I mean, it's pretty much all been played on the radio before.
Exactly.
And every now and again you'll get that dude in the crowd that's just like, this
yeah.
song, dude.
That's what I think you guys have, and this is nothing against other bands. Like you said, Tantrum Too Blind is doing something that's sort of the same vein as what you're doing. But I feel like that was one of the biggest draw points of Riddled With Class. You guys could play a street dance, and you could play to... Who's going to be at a street dance? People from 20 to 30-ish to about 50-ish. And these people probably listened to the radio between 1990 and 2010.
Sure.
And those are like the hit songs you're playing. You're playing the, I don't know what you want to call it, 90s alt rock songs all the way to the pop punk to the punk. You're playing, I've heard you guys play Rage Against the Machine before, Foo Fighters, you name it. It's all these bands that, like you said, you've heard on the radio before.
Yep.
These are all the people that are now the paying customers that go into bars and frequent them. The people from 30 to 40, people that are like close to our age, and this is the music we grew up listening to, and our peers are the ones that are now listening. And I feel like that's where you guys have like a really strong point. And that's, like I said, nothing to take away from people that are in a cover band that's just like, we only play 80s hair metal, or we only play 70s rock, or we only play blah, 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 or whatever. That's nothing against any of those bands, but I feel like that's one of your guys' like niche market, but it's not even like a niche anymore because, now our peers are the ones that have the money, and they're the spenders in the society. So it's kind of cool to see that out there.
Yeah, and I mean, even just as long as I've been playing, I didn't really even start playing guitar till I was 17, 18, maybe, and I've been playing ever since, and basically playing live ever since, and I've seen it kind of shift.
Yep.
And it's like, when Nick was first telling me about the kind of stuff that they play, it's like, man, does that really work?
That's what
but
exactly.
I'd been doing that, the classic rock, the country thing for so long that it's like I didn't even really see the shift. We back in the foreplay 100 proof days, we'd do like like a Kryptonite or something like that.
Yep.
Maybe a Green Day song here and there. And every now and again you get a pop from it, and every now and again, whatever, dude.
Yep.
But like you were saying, we're playing a lot of stuff from the radio. I'd say the stuff that we're probably the best at is Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
and,
dude, you kill it.
And we love playing the Foo Fighters. But I mean, we're playing stuff, Audio Slave.
Yeah, dude.
Chevelle. We do a Chevelle song.
Yep.
And sometimes it falls flat, but more often than not, there's a few people in the crowd that as soon as we start that opening riff, they're like, "Oh yeah, dude."
Yeah, what's the Audio Slave? I can hear it, but what's the Audio Slave song?
We do Like a Stone.
Yeah. Oh, and see, there's like just some songs you start playing, like you said, those opening notes were. I've been that guy at the bar that's just like, yeah, even if it's on the jukebox, but if it's a live band, it's just mind blowing. You're just like, all right, you're talking to someone and you just pretty much just walk away from them. You grab your beer and you go stand up front and you're just like, woo, and that's what live music is pretty much all about,
Yeah.
And that comes back to like we were talking about like at the beginning of the podcast. You got to know the crowd and play to the crowd, and the crowd is the people that like that music nowadays. Those are the people that are going out to shows and doing things. I mean, it's so weird to think that like the music we listened to in our adolescence, now we're grown up, and like those are the people with like kids and families and stuff like that, and they're coming to your shows, and it's just I don't know. It's weird to, like you say, grow up and watch things kind of shift when Riddled With Class first started, I may even draw it back as far as this. Like, Riddled With Class kind of spawned from the fallout of H-Town Hooligans.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the same band, kind of. It had lineup changes, eventually turned into Riddled With Class. And when they kind of had the same type of deal. They're playing 90s songs. They're playing stuff that you would hear on the radios through like the late 80s, early 90s and stuff like that. A lot of alt-rock type deal. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I don't know if this is going to work or not, you know? And I'll be damned if like 5, 6, 7 years later, you guys are one of the best bands in the area covering music. You know, you guys every weekend you're playing shows, mm-hmm. and it's just while it's happening, it's just like I can't believe this. But nowadays, it's just like, well, yeah, I mean, like all the pieces line up, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's so cool to see that. If you could play, go back and just be like, I want to play a different kind of music instead of what I'm playing now. What would you play? Like if you were to just like, I'm going to start a new cover band. Like, let's put it this way. For me, blues. Like, I mean, it's blues. I like blues. It's like A, easy. B, it's fun. You can just stretch it out forever, play solos and stuff like that.
Yeah. Boy.
Because you've played pretty much every kind of music. It sounds like.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit. I'm honestly, this is it.
This
dude.
is it.
This is what I want to do. You know, in general. You know, if I'm playing into a dirty amp and I'm screaming through a microphone, I'm pretty happy.
That's awesome, dude. That's a good way to think about it. So it sounds like you're right at home, right where you're at.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think I have the Riddled With Class Facebook page pulled up here. If you want to go check out Riddled With Class on Facebook, it is at Riddled With Class. You can just go to facebook.com/Riddled With Class. Otherwise, in the description, I'll have a link to that down below. You were talking right before we went on the air that you kind of had your other band has a name, but you don't have a Facebook page for it.
Sure, yeah. That's me and Chad McDermott, who's the keyboard player, guitarist, harmonica, trumpet, whatever instrument he feels like bringing that night. Me and him, we have a little duo thing, and we've been many things throughout the years because we don't really advertise ourselves, and it's a lot of bars that have had us before, you know, when we had a full band, and they liked what we did and they had us back. But recently we've been calling ourselves Mac and Drew.
Nice.
And it's fun, you know. Toss things up a bit, you know. Like I said, no set list, just kind of fly by the seat of the pants kind of deal, and yeah, we. You know, we don't advertise it much. We don't, we don't have a page, but, you know, when we have something coming up, our personal pages, we'll put something on there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, me and my buddy are playing, you know, down at whatever bar, you know. So.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes I feel like sharing stuff on your personal pages goes a little bit farther than the band page anyways, because it kind of just lets your friends know that, hey, I'm doing this, and you know, sometimes the stuff you share on your page gets lost in translation.
Sure.
I feel like I've been over that with almost everybody that has the Facebook pages and stuff. Your guys' Facebook page, I mean, for a long while, it was just like you go to your Facebook page, and it's like, what weekend do you want to see these guys? I mean, it was stacked. We're talking, yeah, you guys have played like 20-ish or more shows this year already.
Yeah.
But I'm at your page right now, and it doesn't look like you have any upcoming events. Do you know if you have upcoming events, or are they just like got some in the works? Or
we do. I'm not real sure of the dates. I'll get on Nick tonight and have him put some up. I know we're gonna play at Tim Bruck Brew in Clarion.
Cool.
I haven't been there. I've heard the place is cool.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome.
And Halloween, we're in Manson at Shoreside.
Sweet. That's awesome, dude.
We played there last Halloween and maybe the Halloween before. I'm not sure, but
that's sweet.
Good little bar, good food.
Yeah.
You know, come on down there.
I like that place for that. It's not just a bar. You can get food there, and the food's good. And there's like usually a band there. The band's good, you know. So it's if you don't actually drink, it's got something for everybody.
Sure,
you know?
Sure, yeah. I don't drink anymore, but I actually kind of grew up with the dude that owns the joint too. We used to both race motorcycles back in the day.
Dude,
so,
cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Him and his little brother, actually. Yeah,
that's really sweet.
So,
all right. So this is going to come out like probably close to the end of September, but that gives you a little bit of time to maybe toss a couple dates on your Facebook page. But like I said, you guys usually have dates stacked deep in this Facebook page. If anybody wants to get a hold of Riddled With Class, I don't know how you guys do it, but the Facebook page has that send message thing right there, and help them fill up that event page. Because I'll tell you what, I love seeing you guys play. You guys are always in a different town, and that's one of the the funnest parts to see about you guys in these traveling cover bands. Just like, dude, you guys are in this town tonight, and you're in that town next week, and y'all kind of have this hub around Fort Dodge, Humboldt, Rockwell City, Manson area. But it's neat that you guys find a different place every single weekend to play. It seems like you don't ever double up in a year almost.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah, that's what we're doing. And you know, if you've seen us before, recently, you know, like I said, we're trying to revamp our set list. That's why our calendar's a little lack right now. We're trying to take a little time off and revamp things. So if you've seen us recently, you know, and thinking, hey man, the last time I saw him, it's kind of the same deal. It's like,
it's gonna be different now.
We're gonna try and dump a bunch of crap out and get some new stuff in there. So make it fun for everybody again.
Dude, that's awesome because you get that fresh blood in there. It's a new experience, and then you always have those old songs in your back pocket. If someone's like, "Play this," and you're like, "You know what? We can play that song." You know, so that's really cool, man. You got anything else you want to add to the podcast here while we're here?
No, dude. Like I said, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I've listened to just about all yours. I enjoy listening to them. I like what you're doing, man.
I really appreciate that, man. It means a lot to hear people say that. You know, I get to see the stats and everything on it, but it still means a lot more hearing it from somebody face to face than knowing they'll actually listen. So I really appreciate that, man. And I want to thank you for taking the time to come to me to the studio to do a little podcast with me. So thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Episode number 50 is in the bank. 50 episodes. It's pretty crazy. Halfway to 100. Let's keep cranking them out, huh? You heard it from Levi Drew. He said he likes what I got going on, and it's kind of fun to actually hear that from somebody that has listened to a handful of the episodes and then wants to jump in and be part of an episode and just hear what they have to contribute. This is another one of those episodes going in. I'd only met him one other time, and Levi and I had a lot more in common than I thought we would, so it went real smooth. It was a real nice interview process of sorts, and like most of these interviews are more just conversations. I like to just talk with people about what they have going on, and it kind of helps keep the pressure off of them and helps keep the pressure off of me. But it's also kind of fun to get to know these people, you know, to find out that Levi and I both listen to some of the same kind of podcasts. And, you know, he spends a lot of time on the road. I spend a lot of time on the road. We both kind of like pop punk music. It was what we grew up enjoying the most first, you know. So it's kind of neat to find that there's parallels between us. But, you know, he's got a lot more playing styles under his belt than I do, I feel like. But that's just one of those things that every musician has their own journey. And we're all trying to get from A to B, but we're all taking a different way to get there. So it's just kind of fun. That's what makes all of us unique, and that's all I'm trying to highlight in this podcast is just talk to everybody and say, hey, you know, what do you have going on and why is it cool? And then they tell me what they have going on and why it's cool, and you know what? I think it's cool. So I'm glad you guys are listening to this. It's been 50 episodes. I guess if you don't count that first one that I did that was episode number 0, that's the only one that I have. That's a solo podcast. I just kind of ran out of stuff to say after about 15 minutes, and I figured I'd leak enough stuff out over the, you know, rest of the episodes with just adding my own thought process to what people are saying. So, you know, that's 50. Thank you very much, everybody. I want to say huge thanks to all the listeners, everybody who has subscribed, liked, commented, reviewed, YouTube, iTunes, Facebook, no matter where you guys are at, I've seen and heard all of it. We've went from just about 100 Facebook likes to about 500. So it's kind of crazy to see all that stuff just keep ballooning up and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So thank you guys very much for supporting what's going on here. I want to say huge thanks to one of our biggest supporters, which would be the sponsor, Couchtown Coffee. Make sure this week you go to couchtowncoffee.com and you find the coffee you like and make an order and enter the code word CLASS, because I'll tell you what, you'll be the classiest cat in the cave drinking this coffee. It's so good. I French press it every morning, sometimes in the afternoon, just kind of whenever I want coffee, because, man, I love coffee. So I'll tell you what, go to www.couchtowncoffee.com during this week, and this week is going to be the 29th through, oh no, I got to pull up a calendar here. This is going to Make me look very unprofessional. I'm not even going to edit this out. Let's see here. The episode's coming out on the 29th and then all the way through September 4th. So any front time from the 29th through September 4th, you make an order, you save 20%. The code word is class. I want to say thanks once again to our guest, Levi Drew. He's Riddled With Class. He's one of the guys in Riddled With Class. And those guys are on a tear. They've been, the last couple years, just lighting it up around the north central Iowa area and even beyond. So it's kind of fun to see all that stuff going on. Just some buddies of mine out there playing music and just doing very well at it, as a matter of fact. I also want to say, hey, if you guys missed last week's episode, this weekend is the Rockin' Picnic. I got a flyer for it right here. Ooh, sorry. I got a flyer for it right here. Let's see here. Sunday, the 1st, September 1st, that's the Sunday before Labor Day, so you aren't even going to have to work on Monday, so don't worry about that. But it's 3 o'clock, music starts, Grin, Brutal Republic, Rolling Thunder, not in that order. It's going to be Brutal Republic, Grin, and then Rolling Thunder. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited to see all 3 bands. It's going to be a great show. Check it out. If you're in the Humboldt area at Sheldon Park on Sunday, that's where it's going to be at 3 o'clock. If you're going to be in the Humboldt area on Saturday, you can come out at 7 o'clock to Sheldon Park and listen to Tom Buller and Just Plain Trouble. They're going to start at 7 o'clock. That's going to be a fun show. That's the show we talked about last week. In last week's episode with Scott Dahl, that was one of the repeat episodes, but it wasn't really too much of a repeat episode because we were really keen in on the Rockin' Picnic for this episode. So that's what's going on as far as in the Humboldt area on Saturday and Sunday this weekend. I will be playing a show on the 31st. It's going to be a punk rock beach party at Boggs Hole Avenue Tavern in Des Moines. Three Finger Betty, Americature, and the Eleanors. Oh, sweet. I get to see the Eleanors play finally. I've been waiting for that one. I haven't seen Americature play for a while, and I'm super stoked to watch them play too. So maybe if you are in the Des Moines area on the 31st, you can come out to Boggs Hole Avenue Tavern to a punk rock beach party. Three Finger Betty's going to be there. Check it out. It's going to be a fun time. I think I've probably talked enough for the end of this episode, so I want to say thanks once again to Levi Drew for joining me on the podcast. Thanks to our sponsor, Couchtown Coffee, and thank you guys, the listeners. I'm out of here. Peace.